So the most important thing is to be comfortable and upright, leaning slightly forward, with your spine rising easily and naturally from the pelvis going up towards the shoulders. Feeling even a tug upward from the middle of the body. Sitting with dignity, upright yet comfortable. So even though the spine rises toward the pelvis and up towards the shoulders actually drop down and back a little, and the head resting comfortably with the chin tucked slightly down. And it's a feeling of being planted and letting awareness move from posture to awareness that you are breathing. And for this sitting practice, we will focus on the breath at abdomen level. And so the breath has been there all along, and we bring awareness to notice its slight expansion on the in-breath. So the abdomen expanding on the in-breath and a slight deflation on the out-breath. And so simply bringing awareness to the breath. Not needing to change the breath in any way or worry if we're doing this right. There's no right and wrong. Just allowing the breath to breathe itself as you follow each breath continuously from one breath to the next. You may note the qualities of the breath. Is it fast? Is it slow? Deep? Is it shallow, ragged, or smooth? Just simply noting each breath. The breath that can exist only in this moment. And without bringing any criticism or judgments, considering the breath. There isn't a correct breath or an incorrect breath. There's just simply the breath as it exists in this moment. In fact, the breath that anchors us to this moment. And you may notice that from time to time your focus has moved away from the breath. It's gotten caught up in body sensations or emotions or thoughts. This is not a problem. Each time that you notice that the mind has moved away from the breath, just simply note where the mind is gone, and then very gently escort it back to full awareness of the breath. And so each and every time that you notice that the mind has wandered away from the breath, simply bring it back. The mind doesn't like to focus on one thing for very long, and you naturally begin to cast around looking for some new thing to focus on, rather than staying with the breath. And what we can do is just simply note where the mind is gone and bring it back to the breath. It doesn't matter how many times the mind goes away from the breath or how far it goes. It's all the same. Each and every time, just gently and with awareness, coming back to the breath. The experience of noticing that the mind has moved away from the breath the experience of noticing where the mind is gone is an experience of mindfulness. It's a part of the practice. It's not extraneous to the practice. And so each time is an opportunity to notice where the mind goes. And just one more time, come back to the breath. The breath that's been with us the whole time that we've been alive, but despite this, it can only exist in this moment when we bring awareness to it. It can act as an anchor, bringing us back to the present moment at any time. And so now, if you'd like, just allowing the breath to remain in the background. And just allow awareness to move from a primary focus on the breath to awareness of the body. Just allowing the primary focus to move to awareness of the body as an entire unit working together, focusing on the body as a whole. So that in the same way that you focus on the body as a whole, sometimes at the end of a body scan, just right now being with the body, the entirety of the body, just bringing sensory awareness to your body in this moment, however you find it. Just simply being present with your body in this moment. And you may notice that a particular intensity may arise that calls to your attention to a particular part of the body during this sitting practice. We can always bring awareness to that particular part of the body where the intensity arises, whether it's knee or shoulder or wherever it happens to be. And just bring that same awareness that we brought to the breath, to the body. We may inquire, what are the qualities of intensity? What are the characteristics? Bringing sensory awareness and exploring, bringing an attitude of curiosity and interest. Does the intensity remain the same as we breathe into that? Does it change, deepen, or lighten with each breath, in and out, following it in the present moment, bringing curiosity to each event? The other option, of course, is that you can always change positions of the body. And if you'd like to change positions, just bring that same awareness of intensity to that area of your body and form an attention to change positions, remaining connected, mindfully, aware moment by moment as each change position and as you settle into a new position. We don't have to turn off awareness while changing positions. We can remain connected even when the body is moving. And then settling in once again to awareness of the body as a whole. When settled into a new position. And in the same way that the goal is not that the mind never moves from the breath, or that we never change positions, is that these are natural events, and we don't have to leave them out. But we can remain with them as they are all a part of the present moment. And now, if you like, let's let the focus move from the body as a whole, as an entire unit, to awareness of sounds. That we can use this sense of hearing as a connection with the present moment. And it isn't necessary that this be an awareness of how well you hear. This is not what's important, but just simply awareness of whatever enters the ears and the mind. Not needing to identify what sounds are in awareness, but simply the qualities of the sounds. Maybe pitch, or volume, or tone. And again, without judgment, simply being present with whatever sounds you become aware of. And bringing that same attitude of neutrality, of openness and curiosity to whatever sounds you are aware of. And if at any point you notice that your awareness has moved from simply noting sounds to having gotten caught up in identifying or thinking about or reacting to particular sounds. And you don't have to make judgments about that. You can just simply notice when it occurs. When you become aware that your mind has moved away from the simple observation of sounds to thinking about a particular sound, that is a moment of mindfulness. You can notice and return once again to the simple observations of sounds. That sounds like breath and body is another way that we can connect with the present moment of being alive. However it is we find this experience in each moment. And now, if you'd like, letting go of sounds as the focus, you can move into awareness of the focus of thoughts. Thoughts as they bubble up, arise in the mind from moment to moment. And thoughts like sound, like breath, like experiences in the body, have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And they give us an opportunity to observe the workings of the mind. So if you like, you can take some time to watch thoughts. You may do that by simply noticing a thought arising in the mind and observing it. How long it lasts. And now just watching it as it disappears. You might also watch thoughts as clouds floating by in the sky, forming, changing shapes and then disappearing. Or as if they were a movie on a screen, flashing onto the screen and then disappearing. But however you would like to watch thoughts, it is possible to observe thoughts as an event in the mind. And you could take some time to simply observe thoughts right now. And if from time to time that you notice that a part of you has moved away from simply observing thoughts to have gotten caught up in a particular thought, you can notice that also and return to simply observing thoughts. Because sometimes we can get caught up in a thought that we find particularly appealing, a daydream, a pleasant memory. And then we notice after a while that we're not simply observing thought, but in fact, we are remaining in one. Almost as if it wasn't a thought at all. What was really happening? And then, on the other hand, we can sometimes get caught up in thoughts that feel negative, unpleasant memories, worries, stress. And we can also act as if those were really happening, as opposed to simply being events of the mind. In either case, this gives us the opportunity to mindfully become aware when we've gotten caught up in a particular thought, either positive or negative. And simply note that we have gotten carried away with it. And once again return to the simple observation of the life cycles of thoughts. And now letting go of thoughts, thoughts about thoughts, sounds, body, intensities in the body, returning once again to our old friend, the breath, and simply bringing awareness to the fact that all this time we've been breathing, but also the breath that can only exist in this moment. And so, once again, simply bringing full awareness to the in-breath and the out-breath as it exists in this moment. Just being fully present, just in the present moment, bringing awareness to your breath, to this breath, and this breath, as this sitting practice comes to a close.